اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي وقل ربي زدني علما. My Lord, expand for me my heart with assurance, and ease for me my task, and untie the knot from my tongue, so that they may understand my speech. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
My name is Aalaa Assaad, and I'm honored and very grateful to be addressing the class of 2023 as your salutatorian and the president of RSA's National Honor Society. I'm going to be honest, preparing for today's speech was like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle. I had so many ideas, but I needed to fit them all together to create a cohesive, concise, and impactful speech. After days of preparation, here I am today, ready to share my puzzle pieces with you all. After long consideration, I decided that it may be best to start with a reflection. I would like for all of us to pause and reflect on what happened these past 4 years. Try to recall the highlights and downfalls of this journey. Let's try to compare the person we were when we first started high school to the person we are today. For me, these 4 years were a time of growth, discovery, and appreciation. It is when I really began to understand myself and the world around me, and began to form some of the best relationships. I still remember vividly the first day when I was walking through the front doors of the school for the first time, feeling both anxious and excited about the journey that was to come. And here we are today, nearing the last few pages of this chapter. 4 years have ended within a blink of an eye. I don't mean that the journey was just a breeze. Of course not. It was a constant struggle to get to where we are today. But is this tough but beautiful chapter really coming to an end? Are we really saying goodbye to the times when we cried over completing the endless biology assignments and chapter end questions for Sister Fatima, memorizing the past for Sister Mahreen, reading all the novels for Dr. Dole, counting down the minutes in physics class, and memorizing Rudy's translation and tafsir of ayat for Sister Iman, and spending hours trying to figure out what went wrong with her code for Sister Muniza, just to find out we were missing a semicolon? Looking back at those times now brings many mixed emotions. I'm excited to be beginning a completely new journey, but sad because I'm also ending a beautiful chapter. A chapter mixed with laughter, happiness, tears, and stress. Stress was my biggest obstacle yet motivator during the past 4 years. Maintaining excellent grades in academics while trying to have a personal life with family and friends was a constant struggle for me. Do I watch the show with my family, or do I finish the assignments? Do I spend time and play with my baby sister, or do I work on the project? Do I travel this summer, or do I take summer courses? These are the options I was always stuck between. Now, if you know me well enough, you would know which of the options I went for. Of course, I chose schoolwork over many other leisure activities, because I did not know how to balance my time between school and home. I'm also the type of person that tends to push myself to my maximum capacity, and sometimes even a bit over. However, I realized that even though it's good to challenge ourselves, we should also set some limits. Setting limits for yourself is not something that you would hear from many people. That's because we're always told to do just the opposite, push ourselves. However, I realized that even though it's good to challenge ourselves, sometimes we should also set limits, because it's just as important as setting goals. Our focus should be divided between other important things in our lives. Unfortunately, I wasn't the best at making this balance. Do I regret it now? No, of course not. Regret does not change anything, but I now realize that it could have done things differently. Time lost cannot be regained, but we can learn and improve for the time to come. Getting rid of the stress, making a balance, setting limits, all became much more familiar and easy when I came across one ayah in the Quran. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah does not burden any human being with a responsibility heavier than he or she can bear. This ayah is a reminder that Allah has given us a certain capacity, and He does not require us to do more than we are able. It is a reminder that we should not put too much pressure on ourselves, and that we should focus on what we can do and leave the rest to Allah. Understanding this will allow us to create more balance in our lives and ultimately relieve our stress. A balance between academics, personal life, family, friends, and most importantly, religion. I first started attending RSA in 2019. It was halfway through 9th grade. I decided to leave the public high school I was in the middle of the year because its environment did not suit me. That is when my wonderful parents decided to put me in an Islamic school. At first, I was nervous and worried. However, when I came to RSA, everything felt different. The first person I met when I came to tour the school was Sister Miraj. Her caring and kind personality made me feel very welcome. She never acted like she was just a school administrator doing her job. In my eyes, she was more like a mom. Then, when I got to know the rest of my 9th grade teachers, Sister Sana, Sister Moniza, Sister Ruwaida, and Sister Fatima, I saw that none of them were just teachers. They were mothers, sisters, and friends. Although many of them did overload us with many assignments, I can tell that they really cared. That was a big difference. I will never forget when I was in 10th grade and there was a concept I was struggling with in chemistry. Sister Fatima called me at 8 p.m. to explain it to me. She was not getting paid to help students at 8 p.m., but she did because she cared. Or the day when we had a simple question to ask Dr. Dole about our college English class, so he came back from NLC to RSA to answer our question. Or when Sister Moniza came to teach me during her break time to make sure I was prepared to take the AP Computer Science exam. These teachers and many others really care, and I want to thank each and every one of them that played a role in my education and development. I learned valuable lessons from each one. And I don't mean textbook lessons, I mean life lessons. I'll start off with Sister Iman. Sister Iman helped me improve my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is one thing I'm extremely thankful for. I took her class all 4 years of high school, and alhamdulillah, I gained lots of valuable knowledge and insight about our prophets. With each passing year, my love for Allah grew tremendously. Islam will always be the center of my life. Everything I do, and I hope to be a walking representation of this religion. Thank you, Sister Iman. Thank you for being a kind, caring, and amazing teacher. I'm truly going to miss you and your warm smile. Sister Iman, I want to give you an award for being the most kind. Next is Sister Moniza. Sister Moniza helped me discover my interest in programming. When I first came to RSA, I had never coded anything in my life before. I knew nothing about coding. Within just 1 year of taking Sister Moniza's computer science class, I found myself in an AP Advanced Placement computer science course. At first, I had no confidence that I would be able to pass this class. But thanks to Allah and her constant help, I was able to pass the class and the AP exam. Sister Moniza also played a crucial role in my NHS experience. Without Sister Moniza, NHS would not be the same. She helped us through every event and dedicated so much of her time to helping us raise money, organize events, volunteer, and much more. She is wonderful, and I want to thank her for everything she has done for me. Her patience through everything she does is one of her key traits. Believe it or not, I have never, ever seen Sister Moniza mad before. Which is why I want to give her an award for being the most patient. Next is Sister Sana. Sister Sana took on many roles in RSA. She was first our geography teacher, then she taught AP Bio, then she became our counselor, and now our principal. Through all of these roles, Sister Sana was a leader and a role model. I always thought it was amazing how she could be a mother, a wife, and a principal all at the same time without ever looking stressed. Although she definitely was at times, her smile never left her face. She's truly the nicest principal anyone could have. Which is why I want to give Sister Sana an award for being the most friendly. And last but not least, Dr. Dole. Dr. Dole is probably one of the best English teachers I have ever been taught by. There are many things I learned from him. He constantly reminded me of the importance of having a balance, that I should work hard, but not to the extent where I began to obsess. When I was struggling with choosing a career path and told him that I wanted to do medicine, but that the path was just too long, he told me something very beautiful. He said, when aiming for something, we shouldn't be too worried and focused on the destination. Rather, we should enjoy the journey that leads us to it, because what we gain and experience along the way is what is truly valuable. He constantly reminded me that my goal should be excellence and not perfection. He told me that it's good to aim high, but not to the extent where I begin to obsess. And the best advice he ever gave me was, in quotes, don't forget to breathe. And of course, I have this in quotes, and it is cited in text, and it is also on my works cited page. So don't worry about it. Without a doubt, all of this advice is very valuable, and I will always remember it as I move on through the next stages of life. Thank you, Dr. Gold. Thank you.